and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're going to be making Airsoftfatty's world famous bean and cheese soup. That being said, before we hop into this, I need to say a few things, okay? Please make sure that you're liking, commenting, and subscribing, because when you do so, not only does it help us out with the algorithm, because it tells the algorithm, hey, more people need to see this shit, but it also helps us out to see what you guys enjoy and what you love. And it's completely free, and you can take back your subscription, likes, and all that later, completely free. Again, all free. But if you wanted to help us out in the best way possible, subscribing, liking, and sharing us around is the very way to do so. And if you want to take an extra step, check out the links in the description down below. We got things like my CAMEO, which make amazing gifts for people no matter the occasion, and a bunch of other things like my Twitch, my Instagram, and all that beautiful stuff. That being said, make sure you're checking out the description. Make sure you like, commenting, and subscribing, especially if you want to see us to continue to thrive and make content. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, as I said today, we're making my world famous cheesy bean soup, or bean and cheese soup. Bean and cheese, that's what it is. Bean and cheese. B&C soup. That being said, I've done some pre-prep work on a few items. Dicing, things like that. Just making the meat and potatoes of it. So the ingredients you're going to need are quarter of a potato, quarter of a full-size potato, and you're going to need 6 baby carrots. You're going to dice your baby carrots up, you're going to bake your potato, then you're going to dice your potato up, and you're going to mix your carrots and potatoes together, like I've done. Like I said, I did some pre-work, mainly because it's hotter than a bitch today, and I didn't want to sit here and just like some sort of fucking bulldog, that happens when you're running your oven at 500 degrees. And you live in a tiny home where you have some amazing insulation and your AC ain't working, and oh boy. That being said, if you can tell, I'm hotter than a bitch right now, so let's just hop right into this. The next ingredient you're going to need is around a cup of cheese. I want to say, about a cup. You don't need a whole shit ton. Just need enough, you know what I'm saying? Just enough. And then finally, you're going to need some fresh beans of your choice. I'm going to pull the bag out of beans that we use for this, because I didn't need to use a whole bag. You don't need a whole lot, right? Beans are going to be your main ingredient, but you're not going to need a whole lot. These are pinto beans, right? So these are the beans that I'm using today. Usually I like to use pinto, or I'll use kidney beans. But today, we're working with pinto. And what you're going to do now, when you're making fresh beans, right, especially pinto beans, you want to soak them for up to 5 hours beforehand in water. And so I have had them in this Bill's fucking beverage mug here, filled with some water, and I've seasoned the water. Look, asshole, I know I'm white, but I season my shit. I ain't no bitch named Karen. That being said, it is spiced and seasoned water with some poultry seasoning, some meat tenderizer, a little bit of salt for flavor. And I've had them soaking now. I've had them a little over 7 hours soaking now. But you mainly want to keep it between 5 and 8 hours. It helps soften the beans up, gets them ready to cook. And then if you season the water, it helps absorb some of that flavor. What you're going to do now is you're going to drain the water out of your beans, like so. Just knocked over my beer mug. Knocking over everything right now. Drain this water out real quick. Keep very little of it back. Now what I'm going to do is, now that I've drained them, I'm going to get the pot of water that's on the stove boiling. And then once that's at a boil, what I'm going to do is throw my beans in. And then you're going to want to let your beans boil for about 20 to 30 odd minutes. So what I'm going to do is, once this water is boiling, I'm going to dump the beans in, and we're going to hop right into it. So I'll probably just make this a little montage of just kind of, you know what I'm saying? I'll come back to you guys once this is done boiling, and we can throw our beans in. Come to think of it, actually, I might use a bigger pan, or pot, or whatever we want to call it, just to be safe, because, well, I looked at how many beans I prepped, and I didn't realize I put a little bit much in there. I thought I put in less than I did, but hey, that's a mistake. I would just simply fix it. Grab the bigger pan. Water going. Let it boil. It's going to be a good day. Oh, and by the way, just so you guys know, it is 96 degrees today. 96. So while this water boils, I'm going to put the fan on my face and try to relax. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our water's at a rolling boil. It is ready for the beans. And, yeah. I'm just going to put them in like this. I love me some beans. Fuck you, I was trying to be funny. Clearly I failed. But now, I wait. It's going to take about 30 minutes. If you look at that water, almost looks like some Indian food.
Wake up, filthy.
Ladies and gentlemen, now that our beans are in the perfect tenderness, they are literally ready for the next step. We're going to drain the water and, if you look at that water, almost looks like some Indian food. Boiling in the water, and then once that's ready, we'll throw our cheese into which I put in the fridge because it's literally so hot in here that the cheese started melting just sitting over here on the counter. How the fuck do you get that hot? To all you stupid bitches out there saying global warming ain't a thing, fuck you, I'm living in a northern state. We're supposed to be known for cold-ass winters and shit. It's fucking hotter than Satan's nutsack! Okay, now is where we're going to take our potatoes and carrots that we mixed up earlier, and we're going to dump it in. Like so. And then we're going to stir it in. What we want to do, we're going to leave this all in here to boil for a few minutes. Because you want the carrots to get nice and tender. Potatoes are already tender, which waiting for those carrots to tender up and become just as soft as beans. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're at a point now where we can drain out our water, right? Now, you don't want to drain it all out. You want to leave a little bit of a layer there. All right? But you want to get a good majority of it out. There shouldn't be too much left after boiling. Just like I thought, not a whole lot left. And now off the stove, you're going to put your cheese in. So once off the stove, you're just going to take the cheese and put it in. And of course, once you put your cheese in, you're going to turn your stove down to about 60% of the heat that you had it at. You're just going to throw it on, then you're going to kill it. You're only going to need that heat for a few seconds, all right? Leave that for a few seconds to help heat the pan up. You're just going to kind of stir. cheese doesn't clump. You're gonna pull this off the stove, and you're gonna put this in a windowsill or near a fan. Every 2 to 3 minutes, you're gonna come back and stir as it cools down, because it's gonna help keep that cheese a very beautiful, consistency. So I'm gonna go ahead, cut the recording for now. We'll come back with the taste test. And I'm gonna let this thing cool down. And I'm gonna try to cool down because it's hotter than a bitch, man. Holy fuck. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are at the taste test. And don't that look nice, thick, creamy, full of veggies like beans, carrots, and potatoes? Oh, it's gonna be tasty. That being said, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and give this bad boy a taste test. Did it come out good, or is this gonna come out bad? So we're gonna get a nice big old bite here with some carrots, some potatoes, some beans. You can see there. Cheese. We're gonna go ahead and try it. In case you didn't notice, I took a shower, had a little bit of a change. Got really sweaty. A lot of good that shower's done me because I'm sweating again, not even like 10 minutes after drying off. Needs a little bit more salt. A little bit more poultry seasoning for the flavor. But that there is a solid 7 out of 10. I ain't gonna lie. The cheese helps thicken it and make it feel like a real bite. The pinto beans are high in fiber and really good. It's not some canned crap. Carrots are high in vitamins that you need for eyesight and things like that. And potatoes are just a good source of potassium. Great way to help get your legs to relax. That being said, this is pretty damn good. I could honestly see this being made into like a fucking chip dip, really. Like a vegan chip dip. Yeah, 7 out of 10 feels just right. And I can't lie, those beans. It's always better to make fresh beans, I'm telling you. That canned crap is a canned crap. So would I suggest you guys try this? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I suggest it to hell and back. That being said, I hope you enjoyed today's little cooking video and food review kind of thing. Like before, like I said, I hope you guys like, comment, subscribe, and remember to share us around because it helps us out quite a bit. And again, it's free to do, and it's free to undo. So, that being said, it don't hurt you much to be able to do it. So, we would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, if you want to take it a step further, like I said, we got some stuff down there in the links in the description. Things like my Cameo, Instagram, my Twitch, and a few other things. Always be checking those out because we always got little treats in there for you. That being said, yeah, it's been your boy Airsoftfatty, and sweating my ass off, so I'm gonna try to find a way to cool down. So, talk to y'all later. Bye. Ooh, wow.